home is to answer the same question. Is international travel compatible with a sustainable lifestyle?
Do you want one?
Yes, please. So, ultimately, I think they can be compatible. And what I'm going to come back to later is that it depends very much on what your personal standard of sustainability is. Okay? But to answer this question more fully, I must first go into what I think a sustainable lifestyle actually is. So while I think that the environmental impact is very important, and it's often what we think of first when we think about sustainability, the environment. However, I think a sustainable lifestyle also needs to involve the economic impact we have and the cultural impact we have. And together, these three make up what I call a sustainable lifestyle. And if to answer the question, is travelling compatible with this, I want to look to minimise the impact of these three areas, economic, environmental and cultural, when travelling. So let me tell you what I mean by these terms. Okay, so when I say the economy, the economic impact, I'm just talking about the transfer of any goods for any kind of payment in any way. So this could be trading apples for corn, this could be paying for crisps in a local shop, this is any kind of transaction that happens on your home or abroad. When I'm talking about the environment, I don't just mean climate change. I mean everything that surrounds a person in their life. It's the buildings they're surrounded by, it's the plants, the animals they see every day. And it's the structure, so it's what they're surrounded by. And when I talk about culture, this is the things that aren't immediately visible. This is the languages, what you hear in your day-to-day life. And it's all the shared values, norms, and customs that tie together different societies. Now, all of these areas need to be considered if we're to think about travelling sustainably. So what does this mean for the environment? Well, of course, there's a big environmental impact of travelling. As covered with the previous two presentations, flying seems to be the main point of focus when we talk about international travel. It's the easiest way to get places, and with expanding capacities at airports and cheaper flights, it's definitely the easiest way to go. However, is this compatible with a sustainable lifestyle? Now, this statistics already mentioned that 2% of all CO2 emissions come from air travel. However, this is set to double in the next 20 years, and like I mentioned with expanding airports, this just seems to keep rising. However, it's only emissions from air transport only make up 12% of the total emissions compared to 74% from road emissions. So we can see that while air traffic might be very polluting per plane, in total, it's not making such a big impact. So it might turn out that using your car every day is actually way more polluting than taking a plane once, maybe twice a year. Another thing to remember here is that cars generally, how many people are in them? Just the one, right? Just the driver. It's incredibly inefficient to have one person driving a car, whereas planes, on average, 80%. So it's maybe more polluting per plane, but it could be taking more people. So if everyone drove instead of taking a plane, we would create a lot more pollution. So what I'm getting at here is that there are lots of different types of ways that we personally can impact the environment. Now, if you drive every day, that's quite polluting. And then if you take a flight on top of that, that's even more polluting. So taking planes in that sense is quite a bad idea. But if you are committed to having a sustainable lifestyle and you cut back your driving home, you take bikes, you walk, you think about where your food comes from, you try and minimise the air miles from your apples, for example, then adding a flight into that, you might actually reduce and offset your carbon footprint. So it's not just thinking about the obvious thing with planes, it's thinking about the entirety of a lifestyle. So again, this comes back to your personal standard. If you think that no emission is acceptable in your life, then obviously a plane, a train, a car is unacceptable. If you're willing to have a level of CO2 emissions, then you can add a plane to that if you reduce your domestic use. So moving on to the economy. A sustainable lifestyle should also promote local economy. Why? Because spending locally promotes the stability in the local economy. Spending money locally is twice as effective as keeping money locally than spending in a big chain store, for example. And this principle applies domestically as well as internationally. So when travelling sustainably, I believe that this principle should apply. You should shop locally, you stay in locally run accommodation, because then this money can stay in the community, it can allow for long-term investment rather than just living hand to mouth, and stop communities becoming ghost towns. Furthermore, when we're talking about culture, parachuting into places is not the way to go. That's not sustainable. It's all about minimising the impact you have on the place you're going. This could be taking a language class to be able to communicate better. It could be contacting a translator, doing a bit of research, finding out where your culture clashes. So in conclusion, it's all to do with your personal standards of sustainability. But overall, we need to minimise impact in these three areas. Thank you very much.